standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Oh yeah, holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Take it a trail.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. I'm Tamira Hume, a practitioner here at our center. Thank you to our band for starting us off just right. Hope is not just a feeling, it's a force. And when hope is shared, it becomes resilience. That's what community is to me. A sacred container where we remember we don't have to face life alone. It's where someone can hold hope for you when yours feels distant, and where your strength becomes a lifeline for someone else. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." That is the spirit of our center. We don't deny that life can be hard, but we show up anyway. We show up with open hearts, with deep compassion, and with a fierce commitment to lifting one another up. Whether you're in the room or on YouTube, you are welcome here, where we aspire to build a community rooted in diversity, inclusion, and equity. Please join me in reading our mission. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. Many mystical traditions teach that spirit is not something separate from us, but it is the essence of life. When we embrace this way of seeing, we begin to understand that every person, every challenge, every joy, and every sorrow carries within it the potential of wholeness, not as a distant idea, but as an experience. This can give us hope, because if the wholeness is available in all things, then there is no experience that is too broken, too painful, or too uncertain to be transformed. At the center, we teach 5 spiritual practices to help ground us in hope. Please read these aloud with me. Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. At our center, we use flowers to send messages of love and compassion. Today, on behalf of Dr. Edward, Reverend Russ, and our office staff, we dedicate these flowers with heartfelt gratitude for Anne Giroux, whose presence at our office front desk as our volunteer receptionist has been a gift to this community. More than a welcoming smile, she has been a steady and gracious presence, offering kindness, care, and unwavering commitment. Anne, your dedication and generosity has touched us all. We honor the love and service you have shared so freely. You are a cherished part of our spiritual family, and we hold you in deep appreciation. Thank you. I know that we would now like to extend a warm welcome to our first-time visitors. First-time visitors, please, if you can, stand or raise your hand, and we will bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of our gratitude that you are here with us today. Please remain standing or keep your hand raised so that we might find you. And if you are watching online for the first time, let us know in the chat. We are so grateful to have you. I know that somewhere between the music, meditation, prayer practices, and Reverend Russ's message today is exactly what you need to experience the next step of your spiritual unfoldment. You are welcome here. Now please enjoy some music before we spend our short time in silent contemplation and prayer.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One.
There is one glorious presence, one eternal goodness. This presence, this love, delights in recreating itself endlessly from the unformed to the formed. It is that which bursts into color in spring. It is brighter than the sun and kinder than moonlight, and it is beyond anything we can see or taste or touch. It is the beloved. And since it is all there ever was or will be, I must be made of this goodness. I must be spirit showing up, one small part of the infinite. And as this is true of me, it is true of each one here and each one listening. Each one the beloved, each one love expressing, each one infinitely creative. And so I speak my word for this service and for each one listening, that this is the time we wake up and remember who we really are. We, the love, we, the infinite, we, the creative, that somewhere in the music, the silence, the prayer, the message, the coffee served and the hugs given, somewhere is that spark that reminds us we are the beloved. We are infinite and creative. And I give thanks for this. I celebrate it, and I turn it over to the law that always says, yes, dear ones. Yes, this is the truth of your being. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning. I'm Venus Maher, a practitioner emeritus here at the center, and I ask you to read the affirmation with me. My mind is a center of creative expression within the mind that creates all. And so it is.
I've been planting seeds on the ground, watering them with my sweat and tears, scattering them all around. Guess that's what I'm supposed to do with my years. The funny thing is I may know what I planted, but never what will grow. It always seems to be the perfect mystery. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Sometimes I still like to pretend I know what the harvest will be, but I always find out in the end it was never really up to me. The funny thing is when I just do my work and simply trust, it always seems that life is looking out for me. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. And I am only one of billions of seeds. When all is said and done, I just do what's mine to do and let it be. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar planting seeds. Planting seeds, I am planting seeds, nothing more.
You got us a little chicken picking this morning. Love it. Good morning. I hope you're ready for farming and gardening metaphors, because we've got a lot. Now, I've always felt that there's a certain mystery and a certain magic in seeds, because the smallest of seeds can turn into something magnificent. And when I moved here in 2021 to Sonoma County, this really hit home for me. The first time that I gazed up at the majestic redwoods around me. And did you know that a giant sequoia seed is the size of basically a flake of oat? That's how small it is. And yet it grows into the largest organism on Earth. One tiny little seed. So it makes me wonder, how can something so small contain the potential for something so grand? And it makes me wonder, too, how does that tiny little sequoia seed know how to become this magnificent tree? Well, we're going to talk about just that today. We're going to talk about potential and possibility and power. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, teaches in The Science of Mind that each of us has access to what he calls an invisible power, which is the power that we can use to tap into the infinite potential that each of us carries to bring about heaven on earth. And so here's the ideas that we're going to share today. The first is that each of us carries within an invisible power that allows us to tune into possibilities and potential that can change our lives for the better. It's the ability to plant seeds of intention. And the second idea is that we can look at our lives to see what seeds of intention we might have already been planting. And then, if we see something we don't like, we can uproot it and we can plant something new. And the last idea is we're going to talk about how we can step boldly forward and own our part in helping to create a world that works for everyone. We can do that by focusing on planting seeds of love and hope and optimism, and by planting seeds that grow into the kind of world that is heaven on earth. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. And Helen Keller said that. And some of you might know her story. Born in the late 1800s, she was afflicted with a disease that left her deaf and blind when she was about 19 months old. And cut off from the power of language, most would assume that it would be impossible for her to ever communicate. And this was true until she was about 7 years old, because she only was able to communicate with her family, who could understand these hand signals that they had worked out. But when she was 7 years old, she found a teacher, Anne Sullivan, a young woman with her own history of disability. And Anne, she was not deterred by Helen's disability. In fact, she saw potential. By drawing out letters that spelled words on Helen's hand, and by holding Helen's hand to her throat and her face so that she could feel the vibrations of speech, well, Anne was able to help Helen Keller learn how to read and write and speak so that she could interact with the world. In fact, Helen went on to learn these things, and she also graduated top of her class at Radcliffe University. She would go on to become an advocate for disability rights, for women's suffrage, and for peace. So when I hear the story, it tells me clearly Helen Keller contained within her the potential to overcome her limitations. She just needed to find the right soil, in this case in the form of Anne Sullivan's compassionate instruction. The seeds that we plant, they matter. But it's not enough for us to just plant them. It's also important that we take care of them when they grow, and that we continue to love them, especially when the times get hard and challenging, when the droughts show up. Here's a good example. Most of us know who Michael Jordan is. He's considered by many, myself included, to be the greatest basketball player of all time. But did you know that he was cut from his sophomore varsity basketball team for being too short and not skilled enough? Now, others might have given up on that dream to play basketball, and that happened to them, but not Michael. He used getting cut as motivation for him to get better, because I think he knew that that potential was already within him. And so he planted seeds that said, I am a great basketball player. And then he took care to help those seeds germinate and grow, even when the world handed the garden of his mind some bad times. Now, I like to remind myself of this fact because it can be really discouraging when I see myself planting a seed, sharing an intention, and then, well, it doesn't grow immediately because I get impatient. So it's helpful for me to remember that sometimes the intentions that I plant are like bamboo. Bamboo might show very little growth for years on end, even though you're doing all the things that you do to help bamboo grow. But then without warning, it'll shoot up with vibrant life years later. This is a reminder for me to have faith and to trust that Spirit knows how to turn my intentions into reality. And it's a reminder for me to keep on doing my part by watering those intentions with my loving attention, even if it seems like nothing's growing. Because what I know is that while that giant sequoia seed does know how to turn into that gigantic tree, well, it still needs water and nutrients if it's going to grow to its full potential. And I feel like this is such an important reminder for the times in which we live, because I know for me, it's very easy for me to doubt that my peaceful intentions are going to grow into better days. Sometimes my intentions are like bamboo. I keep watering and taking care of them, and yet I don't see any growth, even though the reality is that my invisible power is working on them below the surface, giving them life. Just because we don't see the life happening doesn't mean that it's not there. And one of the best ways that I've learned to trust my own invisible power is by taking time to look at how that invisible power plays out in my life. And this is the second idea I want you to take home today, that there is no easier way to recognize and see what seeds of intention that we've planted in the world than by looking at the garden of our life and seeing what has already grown. A couple of weeks ago in our Wednesday evening service, we explored Ernest Holmes' observation that we live in what he calls a reciprocal universe, and how our experience of our universe tends to be a reflection of the state of our mind. So if I'm doubting and worried and anxious all the time, then I'm going to experience a world that is filled with doubt and anxiety and worry. And it goes the other way around. If I cultivate hope and optimism and love, then no matter what's going on in the world, I'm seeing the world through the eyes of hope and optimism and love. So by examining our inner life as well as our outer life, that can give us a sense of the intentions that we've been planting in the world. For example, there was a time in my life where I was always grumpy and angry and worried and anxious, and it's no surprise that when I got the courage to really examine my life, I saw that I did not have very many friends. And the ones that I did, they were grumpy and anxious and worried and frustrated, just like I was. In fact, there's a plant that is colloquially known as the corpse flower. And it's called that because it smells rotten. It smells like death. And I'm pretty sure that's what I was getting in my garden because I was planting my angry seeds all over the place. When I took a chance, though, and I accepted and faced my anger and my worry and my doubt, when I found healing for these things through therapy, through spiritual practices like we teach here, like meditation and spiritual mind treatment, well, it became a lot easier for me then to plant seeds of kindness, seeds of compassion. First, I had to uproot all those corpse flowers. I want to be clear on that, because that created space within the garden of my mind. It's really hard to be hopeful and optimistic when you're angry all the time. That's what I've noticed for myself. When I did that I then had an opportunity to understand why was I planting these corpse flowers all over the garden of my mind. So in a way, I had to learn how to recognize what that corpse flower seed looked like so that I would know what not to plant. And then, once that was done, well, then I got to choose to plant something else, something that was more aligned with what is it that I want to experience in the world. And this is one of the reasons why in The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says that if you want friends, be a friend. I learned that I've got to embody the thing that I want if I'm ever going to experience it in my life. The embodiment comes first. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I've found a way to tune into that invisible power, that power of intention, because even with all the things that I see as wrong and broken and ugly in the world, I've been able to cultivate my own small experience of heaven. And this is what Jesus talks about in his parable about the mustard seed. And the parable goes like this. Heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, which a farmer takes and sows in a field. A mustard seed is very small, but when it grows up, Jesus says it is the greatest among herbs and becomes a tree so that birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. How beautiful is that? And this tells me that there is an invisible intelligence at work that knows how to make big things out of even the smallest of intentions. For example, simply choosing to be kind, to be compassionate, well, it can have ripple effects that we might not even know are possible. And knowing this, it helps me to loosen my grip on my desire to only see the ugly things in the world, to focus on the things that feel like they're broken. And it helps me to be encouraged and to become more aware of the seeds that I'm planting so that I can be more intentional in planting the seeds of the things that I want to experience. For me, this is very good because it turns out that there's far more beauty in our world than ugliness. All we got to do is look for it. And so that brings me to our third idea. We plant new seeds, new intentions, when we make a point of looking for the beauty more than we look for the ugliness. Now, this doesn't mean that we have to ignore what's ugly, and especially the things in the world that are asking for our help. It simply means that we shift our default way of seeing and being in the world. You might think of it as shifting your center of gravity. The challenge that we as humans have is that we've got thousands of years of evolution that have taught us that we've got to constantly be on alert for the things that are going to harm us, that are going to hurt us. We're always looking for that tiger around the corner. But we're in a modern age, and it's a bit counterproductive to constantly be on alert for that tiger, when the reality is that for the vast majority of us, we don't have to worry about a tiger eating us in our cave when we're asleep. If you do, please come talk to me. I'd like to help. It's counterproductive because that mode of thinking is kind of like playing out the mantra, I have to survive at all costs, I have to survive at all costs, I have to survive at all costs. And if we live in a reciprocal universe, well, what does that mean? The universe reflects back to us our state of mind. And so we see a world where we are constantly having to survive. I want you to consider this. What if instead the seeds that we planted said, I am worthy of life. I am worthy of happiness. I am worthy of joy. In fact, say those out loud with me. I am worthy of life. I am worthy of happiness. I am worthy of joy. What I love about these affirmations is that survival is actually implied in them. After all, it's hard to be alive, happy, and joyful if we aren't also surviving, right? Survival, it turns out, takes care of itself. And we get the added benefit of changing our focus so that we're viewing the world from the perspective of life and happiness and joy. We're not just moving through life so that we can survive. We're surviving so that we can experience love and happiness and joy. You see how that shifts? In fact, this is exactly what Nelson Mandela did to help to end apartheid in South Africa. He was imprisoned for much of his life because of his activism. And because of that, I could see how easy it would be for him to simply focus on his survival, to become obsessed with that circumstance. I wouldn't blame him for that. But instead, he adopted an attitude of optimism, hope, forgiveness, and he was constantly planting and watering seeds of healing, even from his jail cell. Even though we might argue that the soil that he had to work with was pretty barren. In fact, I think in some ways that Nelson Mandela knew that ending apartheid was a lot like growing bamboo. Sometimes it might seem like we're making no progress at all, when in reality something deep and powerful is taking place in the soil of our society. I really feel like Nelson Mandela embodied the phrase of New Thought pioneer Genevieve Barron. She often said, I decline to be discouraged. Love that phrase so much. I recognize that sometimes we can get so used to trying to survive that it might seem like there is hope or optimism available. So in those times, it's also good for me to recognize, if I do feel like I don't have any hope or optimism left, because then I know what the answer to that problem is. I've got to ask for help. Just like Helen Keller needed help from Anne Sullivan. Just like I needed help to stop planting my corpse flowers all over the place. And this is why our community exists. We recognize here that it's not always possible to find hope and to find optimism when we're in the midst of challenging times, when we're in the thick of it. Since I've been here, I've heard of so many challenges from people here, and I'm always inspired at how so many of us step up to help those who are in suffering and pain. And I can tell you, being the person who helps can be a great gift, not just for others, but for ourselves. Because when we help, we're affirming the goodness in our heart, and we're also recognizing that goodness in someone else. In fact, it's like we're saying, my self-worth sees your self-worth. And the universe responds in kind. This attitude of generosity, of compassion, of loving kindness plants seeds that over time they open us up to more easily recognize that spirit within, that aspect of us that's naturally compassionate and courageous and calm. Heaven on earth happens when we reach a tipping point of people who let spirit truly live through them, who unlock their natural compassion and then share it with the world. When that happens, survival tends to take care of itself. And then we can plant fields that are filled with hope and with optimism. When that happens, we can cultivate the trust and the faith that are needed to keep us moving forward, even when it seems like we're not making any progress at all. So, please don't stop reading the news. But when you do, be intentional about it. First, take the time to tap in and know your invisible power, that power to plant seeds of intention. And then gather your seeds of optimism, hope, of compassion, and loving kindness. Know your self-worth, that you don't have to do a single darn thing to be worthy of love, life, and joy. Not a single thing, because you already are. Get to know that spark of life and possibility and potential that is at the center of who and what you are, and then let those feelings be the lens through which you view the world. In fact, the lens through which you connect with the world. And if you're not able to do that, please find a friend. Get prayer from our prayer practitioners. You can call our spiritual support hotline. You can even connect with a therapist who you trust. Just know that you are not alone. There are people who are not just available to help, but who love to help. I know that the way to get to heaven on earth, it's not all that complicated. It's simply a choice. It's a choice to plant different seeds of intention, seeds of love, of understanding and compassion, seeds of optimism and hope and possibility. It's the ability to trust that once we've planted these seeds, as long as we continue to take care of them, as long as we shower them with love like water over a giant sequoia seed, these seeds know how to grow into something grand and beautiful. Sometimes it takes time, and it's good to know that too. So I invite us all now to go into a spiritual practice so that we can try this out. And if it feels comfortable, go ahead and take a nice deep breath, breathing in. And as you breathe out, allow your eyes to close, your gaze to soften. And in the theater of your mind, allow an image or a sound or a feeling, a sense of something beautiful in this world to grow before you. Whatever this beautiful thing is, maybe it's a person who you love dearly, maybe it's a beloved pet, maybe it's a nature hike that you love doing, it could even be the warmth of the sun. But allow your mind, your awareness to rest upon something that you know is beautiful and good. And then allow that feeling to grow and to expand, to fill you up with this sense of awe and beauty. Notice if witnessing this beautiful thing, notice if that brings you optimism and hope. And notice that as you embrace this beauty, this isn't a beauty that you're embracing outside of yourself. This beauty was already within you. And so take this moment to recognize it, knowing that you are worthy, that you are loved, and that you are whole. And know that any time that life feels challenging or hard, this is always available to you, this beautiful center of your being that knows that it's whole, that it's worthy, that knows that it is love. And so knowing this, in this moment, there is only one life, one presence, one power, one creative source of all that there is. This divine one is love, it is wholeness, it is peace. It is that spark of hope throughout all of life and creation, that potential that is infinite. I know that in this beauty, I am a part of that. Just as each and every person here and online, we are a part of that. We are that love, that wholeness, that peace, that spark of hope that can never be denied. This infinite good, it is within me, just as it is within each and every one of us. And I know that that goodness, that inherent goodness, is what drives us forward in the days and the weeks to come. I know that there is a goodness within me that sees the goodness within all who are here. And that goodness, it helps me to be optimistic, to be hopeful. It helps me to feel my self-worth and to recognize the worth in all who I meet. I know that in the presence of this goodness, there is such healing. And I know that in the presence of this goodness, I am inspired to remember that even though I may not see changes in the world of form, that this invisible power within me is nevertheless working on my behalf to bring about more peace, more love, and more joy in this world. And so knowing all of this fills me with gratitude, such gratitude. And with this gratitude, I release my word into that divine law of mind that is always reflecting back to me all that it is given and more. I let it go and I let it be. And I invite us all to seal this word together by saying, and so it is. I invite you now to take another deep breath, breathing in. Let out a big sigh. Open your eyes. We use our breath to help us to transition to our practice of spiritual circulation. And for me, spiritual circulation is one of those practices that really helps me to remember the power of my intention and the seeds that I plant. Because I know that when I am giving from my heart, that the universe is then bringing that back to me. I might not know how, but I have an opening that's almost like I'm tilling the soil of my mind so that all the intentions that I'm planting there, that they're able to grow easily and effortlessly. So please know that that power is available to you too. And as our community is supported by you, We are very grateful for any financial giving that you share with us. And there's a number of ways that you can give. You can go on our website, cslsr.org/donate. You can do text to give, which is fast and fun and easy. I use that myself. And I want to share a couple of other things that people aren't always aware of. We do have auto giving available. So if you are the kind of person who just likes to know that your gift is given every week or every month, you can talk to Mitzi or Linda at the info desk on the way out, or send an email if you're online to info@cslsr.org. We also have something called the Oliver's Community Card. And if you're do your shopping at Oliver's like I do, you can go to them, and we've got a form you can take that will allow a portion of your purchase every time that you go through the checkout aisle to come back to our community. And it's no small thing. We get quite a lot of money from that Oliver's Community Card. So it's a way that you can give easily and effortlessly. Today, we are going to pass the basket. So I invite our ushers to stand and to hold this sacred space. And I invite you to hold close to you an intention that you would like to see grow, something in your life that you would like to see more of. And then repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does wonderful work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Now is the time when I let go of my fears, inhibitions, and sense of dread. When I give up control and I let you hold me with no resistance in my soul. This is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Now I have just what I need to feel free to be who I really am. Place where I fall into grace and release into the sweetness of your love. Oh, I surrender and I remember the light and the beauty that I am. This is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am. This is the day when I throw it all away to the fire of the all-loving one. Now I have just what I need to be free, to feel who I really am.
Yes. They really help us remember, don't they? Let's give them some more love. If you've talked to me for more than a minute, you probably noticed I'm a bit of an extrovert. I absolutely love people. I love being around people. And I especially love the introverts in my life. That's why I'm really glad Dr. Edward is sharing his new class, The Power of Introversion. Introverts bring needed gifts to society and the world, and that's what he'll be guiding us through starting Monday, April 7th. So whether you're an introvert, curious about your superpowers, or an extrovert wanting to better love and understand the introverts in your life, this class is for you. Did you know that loving kindness can be a catalyst for creativity? This is one of the nuggets of wisdom practitioner Christine Ruddy is sharing in her upcoming workshop on Sunday, April 13th, called Creativity and Loving Kindness. In it, Christine will lead you in a process to unlock your mind and the creativity that lies within. So talk to Reverend Russ to get more information about each class and learn how to sign up. Our annual member meeting is today. This is an important gathering where our members come together to hear a special message from Dr. Edward, vote in our new trustees, share our love and appreciation for our outgoing trustees, and conduct any business that needs conducting. We need a quorum to conduct business. So if you are an active member in our community, please register no later than 12:30 p.m. today for the Zoom meeting so we are able to email you a link. Today is the first day you can register to bid on our upcoming Nurturing Our Community events. Here is how this works. You register as a bidder with our Nurturing Our Community team in the social hall, and then in April, when the bidding starts, you bid on the events you would like to attend. If you are the high bidder, you get to attend. Now here is a video from Dr. Edward talking about some of the great events that you can bid on. Have a wonderful week.
Hello. If community, culture, and connection are important to you, I have 3 events to tell you all about. They bring all of these 3 things together in the most fun and meaningful way. And they're part of the 18 events in our Nurturing Our Community program. First, storytelling and dinner party for singles, which is about sharing stories, enjoying a home-cooked meal, and making new connections, and maybe even sparking a little something more. Next is burgers and bowls. I think that's how you say B-O-U-L-E-S, a game. It brings together great food, friendly competition. Now think bocce ball and then make it French. That's what it is. So whether you go to win or to enjoy, you'll still get a perfectly grilled burger. This is the one for you if you want to have fun. Or how about a dinner focused on healthy, delicious food and shared recipes? It's titled Where Flavor and Nutrition Are One and Fun. These are just a few of the incredible experiences waiting for you in our Nurturing Our Community program, where we bid to attend events. Bidding starts on Sunday, April the 6th. Spots are limited, so don't wait to place your bid. Bid high and bid soon.
Thank you, Dr. Edward. And there will be many more events that you'll hear about in the weeks to come. And our Nurturing Our Community is out in the social hall wearing the white aprons, and they can sign you up to be a bidder. I also want to emphasize, too, that if you are a member and you have not signed up for the new member meeting, please do be sure to do that. We want to have all of you there because it is a sacred time. It's a time when we as a community all come together to reaffirm this center. So I hope to see you there. Make sure that you signed up by 12:30. If you are having a challenging time, if you are looking for the kind of help that I talked about in my talk today that can help you to find your way back to hope and optimism and peace, I encourage you to take advantage of our after-service prayer. If you're watching online, there's a link that you can follow to have Zoom prayer online. If you're here in person, you can go talk to Sherry at the white table in the corner, and she will direct you to one of our practitioners who would love to pray for you and help you to plant new seeds of life and love and joy in your life. All right, it's time for us to close our service. I invite you to stand as you're able and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it, just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you're guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and we say and we think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Enjoy the closing music and have a wonderful week.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. I know the joy of peace. I choose bitter release. Every moment, love wakes up, and peace is every step. I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. I know the joy of peace. I choose bitter release. Every moment, love wakes up, and peace is every step. Peace is every step. Peace is